Hi, I'm Michelle from WoollyRhinoCrafts, and here is my elusive face. I am a fiercely private chaos goblin, and I put on my flesh suit, but little else, as you can see, to make the most unhinged crochet video for the internet. This is the first in a series of videos that will teach you how to crochet wrong. These videos will be excellent for beginners who want to get off to an incorrect start, or for experienced crocheters that want to try something new and not correct. Michelle, what do you mean wrong? You might be wondering. And why in the world would I want to learn to do something wrong? By wrong, I mean that you don't hold anything correctly as you work. I'm not referring to the right and wrong sides of a piece, which I will refer to soon, but my incorrect crochet method is about technique. And as for why, well, there are a lot of reasons. 1. Rules are stupid, especially in any sort of creative hobby. To say there is a right and wrong way to create a thing is for ding-dongs, especially when the end result is the same. That being said, there are some crafts that are less forgiving. Crochet is not one of them. 2. The end result of my wrong crochet is the same. You just hold everything differently as you do it. 3. My technique is more comfortable, especially for prolonged stretches of crochet. I don't make 5-minute amigurumis with blanket yarn. I make 40+ hour pieces with 50 parts and details, so my crochet sessions are lengthy. Okay? The right way to crochet is wildly unnatural positioning and movement. You get used to it, I guess, but I still have a lot of crochet friends who end up with wrist pain after just an hour or two of crochet who do it correctly. Do I know how to crochet correctly? Absolutely. I hate it. It makes my wrists hurt. It makes my hands hurt. It makes my fingers hurt. I don't like it. And I'm not going to do it because I don't need to, because the end result is the same. How did I end up crocheting wrong? Accidentally. It involved this book, Crocheting for Pleasure, published in 1983. You got it. I learned to crochet from a book. There was no internet when I learned to crochet. The internet was not a thing. I was 7 years old. I had 7-year-old reading skills, and I learned to crochet from a book. We'll see more of this book in a bit. Okay? Before we get started, let me rein it in. Let me rein it in just a little bit. I am right-handed. Right-handed, okay? So these videos will be for right-handed crochet. If a left-handed person out there wants to make some companion videos to crochet wrong left-handed, that would be cool! Rather than trying to explain what I'm doing wrong, I'm just going to show you once we get started. The first thing we're going to cover in this video is the chain stitch or chaining, which is used for foundations of flat projects and comes up when working with join rounds and in specific stitches. Then we're going to do single crochet, which is the most common and basic stitch. If for some reason you want to chide me about circulating this wrong technique, feel free to do so in the comments. I won't take the bait because I do not have time to argue on the internet. And remember, kids, on the internet, engagement is engagement. Now, let's get started learning to do this wrong. This is a crochet hook. It is a size J, also known as 6 millimeters. I prefer straight aluminum hooks. My preferred size for most projects is actually an F or 3.75 millimeter. But for demonstration purposes, I want to use a bigger hook so you can better see what's happening. Now, let's take a look at my book. This is the correct way to hold your hook. Don't do this. Grab the thing like a knife. stab, stab. Or like a pin, scribble, scribble. You might need to swap back and forth for comfort depending on the stitch and what you're doing. Next, we make a loop. This is how all crochet starts. This is yarn. It is worsted or Aran weight yarn. It's considered a medium weight, also known as weight 4 in the standard yarn weight system. I hope I picked a good color you can see as we have this magical experience together. Take the end of your yarn like so. Make a loose loop with the end hanging behind. You want a good bit of the end dangling. This is called a tail. Pull this part through the loop with your hook like this and hold it on your hook. Pull it tight, but not too tight. It's adjustable. It also comes right out. Let me show you again. Okay, so now what? You're going to take this end of the yarn that leads back to your main yarn, not your tail, and you're going to begin to chain. This is a chain stitch. It's how you start most flat pieces, and it comes in to play in other stitches that we'll see later. All you do is wrap your yarn over your hook, then pull it through the loop on the hook. Check out this one weird stitch that isn't like the others because I messed up my tension. Crochet is hella forgiving. Just pull it out and do it over. I gently hold the loop on my hook with my right hand index finger to control the tension. Tension takes practice, and I'm working a little bit more loose than I normally would so that you can see everything. Patterns will either tell you a number of chains or a measurement. It's finally time for single crochet, the most basic stitch. Look at my book. Single crochet stitches create a fabric, whereas chaining just makes a chain, you see. This is what you're supposed to do, and we are sort of going to do this, but also not. We are going to do it wrong. Here's the chain, and you want your first single crochet in the second chain from your hook. This is because single crochets are one stitch high, and this first chain is the side of your single crochet. Holding your hook like a knife, stab through the opening of that second chain. Pull tight, but not too tight. Tension! Yarn over, then pull that yarn through the first loop on the hook. Yarn over again and pull through both loops for a completed single crochet. Repeat in the next chain and down to the end. See how I'm holding my hook like a knife? I also don't nonsensically wrap my yarn around any of my fingers. I just work it with my left hand. I'll do this kind of slow so you can watch my hands and the yarn. What I'm doing wrong here is what is technically the back of the work is facing up. Here's the front of this piece. I'm inserting the hook toward myself, more or less, instead of away from myself, which is the correct way to do this. Crochet has a front and back that we'll talk about later. They have different textures. Since the back of the piece is facing me, I'm technically working from left to right instead of right to left if I were working it correctly, if that makes sense. The way I hold everything though, I'm working up from down. Don't think too hard about this, just follow your heart, watch my hands. We're finally at the end, and guess what? At the end, if you're doing single crochet, you chain one. Again, this is because single crochet is one stitch tall, and this chain forms the side. Now we do something called turning, where you turn the piece to do the next row. And the next row of single crochet is a little bit different than the one you worked into the foundation chain. Make sure your chain has the proper tension, then insert your hook through both of the loops at the top of the first single crochet. Yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Yarn over again and pull through the remaining 2 loops for a completed single crochet. I'll keep doing this across. Watch how I sort of roll the hook in my fingers to grab and pull the desired loops. This takes practice and you'll eventually develop a nice rhythm. Single crochet is worked back and forth, so the front and back won't be as clearly distinguishable as when we work in the round, which is coming up. Again, don't think too hard about it, but keep it in mind for later. When you get to the end, chain 1. See how this is starting to look like something? Cool, huh? You're making a fabric. The next row and on are going to be just like the second row, where you insert into the 2 loops at the top of the single crochet of the previous row. I'll show you a few more and then we will time travel. Alright, I did a few rows of regular single crochet. Behold it. Chain 1, and now we're going to talk about front and back loops. Front loop only and back loop only are 2 different ways to single crochet that are used for shaping and texture. And it can be used for other stitches as well, but we're of course focusing today on single crochet. These 2 loops at the top of your single crochets are called the front and back loops. Front, back. First, let's do some back loop. Insert into the back loop, yarn over, pull through that 1 loop, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops, and this is a single crochet worked in a back loop. I'll do some more across. I use a lot of back loop only because it makes a stretchier, less stiff fabric. Chain 1 at the end. You can see this texture change. Now let's work in the front loops, which is much more dramatic. Same thing though. Insert your hook into the loop, yarn over, pull through that loop, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. You can already see how front loops create shape and how the piece is now folding. You can also see these textures on the other side from the unused loops. We'll go into this more later when we learn about working in the round. Now go practice your chaining and single crochet, working flat. Remember, crochet is forgiving, so you can totally just try stuff and then take it apart. Experiment with front and back loops to see how they change the fabric. Try some different things. see what happens, take it apart, try something else. This is great, great practice. Be sure to like and subscribe to learn more incorrect crochet. Happy crafting!